2004 through 2006 Scion XB rear drum brakes. Drum brakes are never fun. There's one vehicle, the ProMaster City, that it's not too bad on. It's actually pretty easy. This is not bad, but it's just time consuming. So before you do this, just know, leave yourself some time so you can get aggravated and push right through it. So we're going to take the drum off. Now you can do this one or two ways. I think I can be able to just, with a rubber mallet, just beat this off. But before I do that, if you're trying to beat this off or it just won't come loose, there's two little bolt holes here. I think they're an M8, but you just put them in here and it'll just pry it off. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the old-fashioned rubber hammer, just beat it off. It's loose. You may have to use the screws, the bolts. Should be able to get it off. Other side came off real easy. It's going to be bolt time. Oh, there it goes. I should have done that to begin with. That was so easy. Now I got these two bolts from a bolt type wheel puller kit, but I think it's an M8 by 1.25. I'm not sure, but just get some bolts and work it out. Oh, here it is. And they're not, well, they are really low. So it's kind of hard to see here, but this is the side that's really doing all the braking, and it is almost paper thin. And the replacement doesn't give you a whole lot more. It does, but like you can see right here, I can probably push that. Yep, sure can. And there goes the brake material. So definitely time to change them. So one of the first things you need to do when you take some drums off is look at the condition of the drum itself. Not too bad. There is a little bit of a ridge. That's why it was a little bit hard. This thing's probably coming up due on the end of a service life. But I'm a mailman, and I'm gonna run it anyway. So the next time around, I'll have to really change it out. But it's gonna be all right. Now then, put your eyes on this, and here's your brake master cylinder. Make sure that it's not leaking. It looks great. And just overall condition. So the next thing I'm gonna do, shouldn't be any asbestos in this, but you never know. And just to make things a little bit easier to see what I'm doing, I got some brake cleaner. Well, you can use a water hose, but this brake cleaner stuff, doesn't matter what brand it is, it'll wash it off and then dry off real quick. Whew, stinks. But it'll dry off pretty quick, and then that way you can see everything. It's not with a layer of brake dust all over it. So the first thing I'm going to do, and look, I've already did this on the other side. It's a little bit aggravating. I suggest taking a picture, okay, because you're going to forget how something went. But there's a spring right back here. It's kind of hard to see. It's still kind of covered with brake dust. That one, I'll take that one off first. Then I'll take these two, I call it bucket springs. I'm not sure what they call, brake caliper, drum brake holding springs. These are a little bit of a booger. You got to push them in and turn them so the peg comes out, and I'll show you how to do that. Now here's this little brake spring right here. It's a retaining spring, so I'm gonna kind of grab it and try to pull it off, just like that. Now remember, it goes behind there and then comes off. I'm gonna lay this down to the side. Now what I'm using is some wire cutters. What I like about them, they just enough pressure and they're kind of skinny enough to get behind these tight little places. I'm not going to push down on these so hard that I break anything here, so kind of like using this. And then another thing is you're going to need a screwdriver and then some kind of pliers. I just got these plumbing pliers to do the work. Okay, so this is the next thing, this bucket spring. And so I just kind of go over it, squeeze down. On the back side is where the peg goes through. I'm gonna hold that and twist. And I might be able to do it with my finger. My finger is here. No, can't. Try this again. There's just not a whole lot of room with that big old axle thing there. Come on. Okay, almost. A little bit more. There it is. And let me show you what, in case you've never done this. See that groove right there? And right here, this peg goes on the bottom on this side. See 2 holes right here? 1, 2. On the parking brake side, it goes on the bottom hole. And so how this works is there's your little wedge-shaped peg there, and it goes through, and then you twist it on there. So once it twists, it locks it in place. Just pretty simple. All right, move the other side now. That side came off easier. And when you go to put these back on, you know, they come apart. That side goes in. It just sits on the spring. So it won't be like caved in on that side. It just sits on the spring. Okay, so we put that down, take my little peg off out the back. And on this side, it goes on top. So look, bottom, top. Or just take a picture and you'll be able to keep things together. See, top and then bottom on the parking brake. Now, this is where it's gonna be aggravating. And this top spring, this bad boy is tough, okay? You might be able to get it off before you pull this off, or you're gonna have to pull it out like I will and twist it, and just be careful not to rip this. Now this bad boy right here, this holds the parking brake adjustment lever, and it's neat because you're not having to wrestle that spring out of the parking brake. But this thing is a booger, and I'm going to try to see if I can't go ahead and start beating that off of there, because you have to reuse it. And it's just, it took me like 20 minutes on the other side to get that off. That's my screwdriver. All right, I'm going to try, but you know what? No, because what's going to happen is this brake part's going to go up there and rip that, and I don't want to have to change that out. It's in perfectly good shape. So I'll deal with this later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to pull this off, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to spread them out a little bit. You really can't. I'm going to work on this side. All right, see how that is? And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get to back here. There's the spring. It holds this big spring up on the top. And I'm going to try to pry it off. We'll get it to move out of the way. Oh, there it went. So now this side is free. And what fell off was this adjustment. So this is your parking brake adjuster. And you notice there's a short side and a long side right here. Okay. You notice that groove right there where it's hitting the sit-in? That's the way it goes. So that's, long side goes out on each end. So I'm going to set this to the side for the time being. Now we're going to deal with this side. There's the rest of the parking brake adjuster. And I'm just going to pull the spring off. Set it to the side. And now deal with this. And this is what I'm talking about, is the parking brake adjustment lever. This is your parking brake, manual parking brake, and it just clips in here. Normally, you got to fight this thing. Not so on this one. This one comes off with this little clip, this horseshoe clip. The thing is, it doesn't want to come off very easy. So I'm going to set it against here and take my screwdriver and beat it that way. Where's my hammer? And it's going to take a little bit, so just be patient and it will come off. I guess I can put some WD-40 on it, probably help. See, it's starting to spread out a little bit. And there it goes. Finally got it to just widen enough, and I had it just hanging off there a little bit. I got these pliers, crimped down on it, and just pulled it off. So now all we have to do is slide it off the peg, and this is the junk one. So here are the new ones. I already know that this the other side is the adjustment peg. So this one goes right here in the top hole. Ah, I lost it. Okay, it goes up here on the top hole. And then take your horseshoe clip, U-clip, whatever, slide it back over, and then try to push it back down. You might have to tap it with a hammer to get it back in there. I need to go this way. There we go. There. Okay. And so I'll take my pliers and try to crimp this down, make the U, closed up as best as I can, and then we'll go on from there. I got that back on there the best I can. So here are these mounting pads, these raised portions on the backing plate, and there's 3. There's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 on this side, so 6 total. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put some grease on there, but before you do, you can take a screwdriver or a brush and just take out, just clean them up, and then put some new brake caliper grease on there. Just a little bit, don't have to do a lot. It just helps with the pads, the shoes sliding on there. All you gotta do is just a little bit, not a whole lot. Don't gob it on there. Okay, again on this side. You can use some graphite kind, a gray kind. I just use this. I mean, it works just as well. Now, we just gotta mount the shoes back on. Okay, this is your parking brake side, right? We know that, and I'm just gonna kind of just prop it up there. This is your other side. This is the side that's actually gonna do all the braking action. You see how thin it is on this side. Now, what we gotta do on this vehicle, we gotta transfer over this adjuster, this parking brake adjuster. It's got a spring and this funny looking piece of metal. Here's the peg on this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the spring off, move this over on that side, and attach the spring again. May have to use a screwdriver to get it loose, or a pair of pliers or something. Okay, got it. There. Trash on that one. This little lever, this little L, is going to go through this little window here. So no matter how it sets, it's going to go just like that. See? And then this is going to clip right here. And then the other end is going to come down here. Now you're going to probably have to use a screwdriver or something and just run it through the back of that hole. There. It's just clipped in there barely. I'm going to go over here and push it in. And if you're aware, this might go flying. There. That's installed. Next thing, go ahead and put it in here. Now this one's got a groove. Let me show you on this side. See that groove right there? Oh, back up right there. Zoom in, zoom out. Right there. It's neat because it holds it in place. So that's what I'm going to do on both of these. So before I go any further, I am going to go ahead and put my little bucket springs back in and just kind of hold this in place while I finish working on it. So here's my little peg. There's the hole. Push it through the back. Now, where did we say this side was? I think it was the top. Now, the way to double check that, if you didn't take a picture, notice where the bucket spring was on this one here. It's the top side. So that's where it's going to go. Okay. And just like that. What I did, I took the bottom, put it behind this bracket, and I put the top in the groove there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my bucket on here. I might be able to do it by hand. I hope I can. If not, I just use a pair of pliers, help push it on there. and I was able to do it by hand. So that's going to hold it while I get everything else set up. Okay, go ahead and put this parking brake adjust. Well, you know what I need to do? I need to lube this. So probably can use a little bit of lube. I'm going to pull this out and put a little bit of caliper grease on here, so it has some free motion in here. Okay, so where's my caliper? Just a little bit, doesn't need a whole lot. Okay, and then back that back in there. And I'm going to go all the way back, because once I get the brakes installed, I can always, you know, back this back up where it needs to be, so we'll get the right tension on there. Okay, it's all the way in. Okay, now how did this go again? We had this shorter piece. Where's it at? This piece was just like that, and it goes on this outside. I want to show you something. This is going to be a lot easier to put into here than this side. So I'm actually going to do this side first. Let me go ahead and get that bucket on this side and hold it in place, and I can do this. See, this one went to the bottom because it's just the way it is. All right, let's see if I can do this one by hand. Line up the peg through it and twist it. Yay! It went in there so easy. Okay. And it's gonna sit in that bucket. Come on, don't be a pain. All right, big mama spring. So remember, the longer piece goes on the outside. So it's going to be a bit of a pain because this spring is so tight. So I'm going to get the spring in first. The spring will go on this little slot over here. So go to put it in there and try to get this in here without tearing anything up. There we go. Got it in there. Okay, this needs to go in its groove. Get in there. Okay, it's in. Let me get this side lined up. Okay, it's in. And I'm sorry that my hands is everywhere, but it's just, the spring is such a pain. Sorry, let me get this out. See, it's hung up in here, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna get my pliers and try to get it out of there. Get out. Okay. Try to line everything up, and then hopefully I can get this to go almost. Oh, so close. Okay. Get a good grip on it. Watch out, because if you let go, it might go flying that way. So I'm gonna pull. There, it's on there. That one's always the toughest. We just got one more spring left, and we got this little tiny spring down here. Now remember, it was sitting like this. And I don't know why. Okay, there it is. You just have to mess with it. There, goes behind, and then comes back out. This is going to be a pain. I can already feel it. Oh, it went in. So see, it's clipped in there, and behind there. The other side, I actually flipped it the other way around, did the same thing. Instead of the springs going in from the outside, they came from the back side, but it's doing the same exact thing. I just tried it over here, but either way, it does the job. So look at it one more time. These are in the buckets and the slots. And you notice there's some room in here. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do, let's test fit our drum brake. Our drum, and see if it's going to fit in there the right way. You can go ahead and take these out of here. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is see if it slides on, which it does. But that's too easy. So I already know I have to do an adjustment. So here's your adjuster. And then I'm gonna turn it. I believe it's gonna go up. Yeah. And it's gonna spread these two shoes out. Now, let's try that. Still way too easy. The way I do it is I got it on this little hub here, and I just roll it forward. Roll it up. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go a little far with it because I can always go the other way. Okay, it's getting pretty snug. It might be too snug now. No? Okay, you notice how it was difficult to get on there a little bit, but it still turns and you hear a little bit of dragging. That's the way you want it, okay? That's pretty much adjusted there. Let me do that again. See, kind of just stops a little bit, just a little drag. That's the way you want it. All right, put the wheel back on, set it down, pump the brake a little bit so, you know, the brake cylinder, the wheel cylinder spreads out where it needs to be, and then you're good to go. So, Mailman Mechanic, hope this helped you. See you at the mailbox.